heart attack. Fast, fatal, heart impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new submerged juice. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kyusho here, and now, before we do begin, let's give a brief little review. In the last part we had Deku and we also had Mirio. These two faced off against Gigantomachia to try and defend Tara's prison. Now, the war has begun. Heroes got reports that prisons were being attacked, and Gigantomachia happened to be heading in the direction of Tara's prison. Now, Mirio went there just in case, and he was happy he did so. In doing so, he happened to defend Tara's from Gigantomachia, and then Deku came in and helped him defend it. Now, right now the doctor, he used a Nomu to get Gigantomachia out of the situation. And right now, the heroes, they're actually trying to look for Deku as a helping hand. While Mirio sees Deku as a villain, the heroes see Deku as a vigilante. And that is the main difference right now. A vigilante will do good. They will try and remain on the heroic side of justice. However, they work outside of the law, which means the law doesn't affect them in a multitude of ways. Now, Mirio sees Deku as a villain, because technically he did kidnap Eri from her caretakers, and he doesn't know if she's even alive, let alone okay. Now, Mirio was untrustworthy of Deku, and Deku, he wanted to get into Tartarus to get All For One's quirk and murder the man, maybe even get Kirigiri's abilities. Now, right now Deku, he wasn't really concerned with that. Fact is, villains attack Tartarus and they will do so again. However, right now, he wants to try and help take down as many villains as possible, since the cities are overrun with them, and emergency services and heroes, they're spread far too thin. Now, with that being said, that was about 2 weeks ago, and ever since then, Deku has been fighting a lot. He has been trying to make sure villains have not taken over, and many people are alarmed. Deku has run into vigilantes, and even former members of the program he was a part of. The people who were a part of the program, they formed a bit of a group, and it is a bit more difficult to understand who they are. However, many of them, they call themselves the Projects. Now, Deku, he was actually quite intrigued. He may not have joined the group, but he has actually seen many of them before. And some of them, they're actually surprised that he turned out to be Agent 11. He was the one they've heard rumors about. The one who murdered the committee and actually set them free. Now, with that being said, we do currently pick up with the heroes. The heroes, they're all currently talking in a room. And right now, there actually is many members of the top 10, along with a few others and other former UA staff. Right now, Nezu is currently talking about how a lot of things have been, and how, right now, what they need to do is allow Izuku access to All For One's powers, and even allow the man to be given the death penalty by him. Now, many people are confused, and right now Nezu just tried to explain. Right now the best thing they can do is allow Izuku that ability. Right now Izuku, he would be better off with it. Izuku does have a heroic heart. However, it is his actions that are hard to justify. If it is personal, Izuku will torture. If it is not, Deku will just fucking murder. And right now many heroes, they do hear about that. Fact is, right now murder is an option. There are too many villains to be taken down and just allowed to get back up again. But many of them, they're not too sure if they can take another person's life. The fact that Izuku can so effortlessly, it does show him to be not only a bit more crazy, but a lot more viable as a hero. Someone who they would not leave a string, behind. They would not leave behind a loose end. Now, right now a lot of heroes are talking about it. The idea of murdering All For One, it is there. And the fact that All Might previously before attempted to murder him and he failed does say quite a lot. All For One is long overdue for exploration. And right now, allowing Deku to take the man's ability, it would do good, but also might do bad. What exactly might happen? What exactly might it do? What exactly might Deku do with his ability? Deku just wants to be a hero. He said it himself. But trusting him, it might be a bit more of a gamble. Now, right now the pros are talking about it. And currently there actually is Deku. Deku, he's been doing vigilante work, non-stop, over and over and over again. And right now, he actually is siphoning the energy from a villain, as he actually does snap their neck and then going to have them drop towards the ground. Him looking down and telling them, their energy will go to good use. They shouldn't have to worry about it. However, the main thing he does worry about is whether or not he's going to run out of energy. Now, Deku does look around. Right now he feels full of energy. Him walking to the edge of the building and looking over it. There's nobody down below. There's nobody around him. And right now, he's intrigued. Right now, he wants to go to Tartarus. He wants to head there. Murder All For One. Stop the League of Villains from trying to get to him. If All For One is taken out of the equation, they will no longer have a reason to go to Tartarus. They will no longer have a reason to go for him. If Deku takes out All For One, Tartarus Prison will no longer be seen as a viable option. The villains will either be left alone, or they'll attack it again to release All For One. And Deku, well, he does like a few of those options. He likes the option that doesn't leave a loose end. That was a part of his training. If he sees a loose end, he always needs to take care of it. Either exterminate it, or get rid of it in a way that looks like an accident, or that looks the least conspicuous. However, right now with the war going on, he knows that this will not be good. All For One is monitored 24/7. And Deku? Yeah. Right now, he does have a few ideas. Now, Deku, he actually just go flying into the distance. And right now, he does make his way towards Tartarus. And the heroes, they actually are all currently discussing a few things. Right now, they want to involve Izuku here as an ally. Right now, they do want to see his potential. See exactly how he can help reshape the world. But that's just the issue. Deku, he doesn't see himself as viable to work for heroes, viable to be a hero. Deku would have to restrict himself. Not murder, not do many things that he does. And the heroes, that's where they do somewhat look at each other differently. Someone to embrace this idea. Certain villains, they're overwhelming them. The number of them is too large. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of them, possibly even 1,000,000 of them. But the pros, there are only probably tens of thousands of them. That's at least what? 1 to 10, 1 to 70, maybe even 1 to 100. And that's where things get difficult. The Meta Liberation Army or the Paranormal Liberation Army, they have numbers. Pro heroes, they have agents and they have power. But in a war of attrition, numbers will always win. Power is not everything. However, right now Deku, he actually is flying high above Tartarus Prison. And there actually is Mirio. Mirio, he is someone stepping up in the meeting. Him talking about exactly how Deku does act. How the man does receive things. Whenever Mirio talked to Deku for the first time, met him in fact, Deku, he was a unhinged beast. He nearly murdered Overhaul. And the fact that Overhaul is even still alive shows quite a bit. Now, Nezuko going to bring this up. He nearly murdered Overhaul. And many heroes do listen to that word, nearly. To which Nezu would explain, Deku, he may be a monster. Yes. Well, he may do torture. Yes. Well, he may do certain things that many people see as unwarranted or even unethical. There is still a point where Deku, he will leave somebody alive. Yes, he did brutally beat Overhaul, but none of them can really say the man did not deserve it. The man hurt a child. The man used a child as some part of an experiment. And Deku, he could relate to being used in the same way. Deku was used in a program. Fact was, Izuku got emotional. And him being emotional here does show quite a bit. That shows humanity. It shows that he still has not given up on a piece of himself that is good. Now, many people do not want to agree with Nezu. However, right now we do actually have Tartarus Prison, where Deku, he turned his body drinking a slime. And right now, he currently does land inside the prison and try to move around. Many people are trying to look around to try and find anything abnormal. And Deku, whenever he actually does latch himself on a security guard, the security guard doesn't even notice. As right now, there actually is whenever Deku, he does monitor a few things. And whenever he does actually get to the comms room, Deku, he actually is somewhat going to scramble the mind of the person sitting down. Them somewhat going to fall backwards in their chair and start to pass out. As Deku actually somewhat walk over and directly going to bring himself up. Him leaking into the computer with Technopath and starting to look around. He finds the floor plans. He finds many things. And right now Deku, he actually has reform and then turn invisible. As right now after he does make his way down the hallway, he does get into an elevator and head down to the furthest level. Right now Deku, he does have many things to do. Many things and ideas as to what to say. He is about to meet the symbol of evil. Right now, he is about to meet the biggest villain to ever exist. And it kind of feels weird. Deku will be the person to kill All For One. He'll be the person who stops him. The person who puts an end to evil. A 200-year-old evil. It feels kind of anticlimactic in a way. And right now, Deku, he's concerned. His entire goal in life was to handle villains after All Might retired. And, well, he feels fulfilled in a way. Whenever he heard All Might retire, he felt good. He felt ready. He felt like he was finally stepping up and changing the world. But now there's actually this. Villains everywhere, 24/7, trying to run around and be a hero, killing villains and just saving people? Is this what he wanted? I mean, yes, he gets to let out some of his aggression with anger and violence, but is this really what he wanted to do with his life? I mean, the committee, they wanted this for him, and he is following their blueprints by still being this vigilante. He's still hurting villains, and he's still protecting people. But he wants to do it. He wants to save people. And this is the only real way he can anymore. Heroes wouldn't work with him. They wouldn't trust him. And right now we actually have that vote. The vote for heroes. Should Deku take All For One's abilities and allow the man to die? And many heroes, surprisingly, after hearing everything Nezu had said, they voted yes. They want Deku to kill All For One. All For One, if he's allowed to escape, then he will do bad things. And right now they want Deku to be their black sheep of Hero Society again. They want him to take on this role and actually work with the heroes. Let them know he's doing these acts. But there's an issue. Deku's already gone behind their backs. He's already broken into Tartarus, and right now he does walk out of the elevator. As right now he does walk up to a security door and start to press in a few buttons. Before he does so, he does disable the turrets that are automatically locked onto All for One. And then he does enter the security code. Him walking into the room, and now All for One does sit there in a straitjacket and have a iron lung, basically keeping him alive. The mask attached to his mouth, as right now he actually look around. Confused as he does hear a voice. Hello, Shigaraki. Hmm? I assume you're some sort of vigilante. Hmm? You could say that, yes. But you can also call me Izuku. I see. You're him, aren't you? Yes, I am. Now, the cameras in All for One cell immediately start to turn to static, and negatives reappear. As right now the static does turn into the last 10 to 15 minutes on a loop. All for One just sitting there with nothing happening, as whenever the 10 minutes would pass by to 15, they automatically restart at the beginning of that 10. And many people, they would not even be none the wiser. As right now, there actually is inside that cell. Deku is currently standing in front of All for One. And the man, he does actually stare up towards this person in front of him. The person with the power that might as well be as great as his own. The next best thing. And in his eyes, the next All for One. Now, right now Deku just stared directly up at him. Or All for One just stared directly up at Deku. And Deku just stared down at him. He's a villain. And Deku, he actually started to ask All for One. Exactly what is he going to do here? What am I going to do? I can't do anything. Himself pointing out. Right now this device does keep him quirkless. And then there actually is the one that does keep him alive. If either of these devices do fail, then he can be in some trouble. However, there's a preferred method he wants them to fail in. Right now the one keeping him contained, he would like that one to fail first. If it does, he can get out of here. However, if the one that does actually keep him breathing does fail, he will have to turn himself into heroes, because he does fear death. Now, they're going to stand there and ask All for One a simple question. Is he afraid to die right now? No, I don't die. Not easily. Really. Yes. My power is quite interesting, as you will find. However, I am intrigued. The fact that you are not All Might's successor does say quite a bit. You say that, All for One. But me and All Might, we've already encountered each other once. Didn't really like the man's power. Didn't like the way it felt into my body. You copied One for All. I did. In fact, I did. I had an adverse reaction. I guess you could say I'm allergic to it. But your power. I wonder how I'll feel. Now, Deku does reach out. And All for One does try to tell him. He needs to be wary of his power. All for One is a powerful ability. And his abilities, they will not come easy. Now, Deku does won't laugh this off. As right now Deku does bring his hands up directly to All for One's head. And All for One, he does won't sit there in pain. He can feel Deku forcefully ripping his way through his body. Through his mind, in fact. And Deku does currently sit there. Him grabbing on grabbing onto All for One's abilities, as right now Deku does feel a strange thing. He feels his body somewhat shift for a second. And his quirks go out of control. But then there's this strange feeling. This strange thing that happens. He feels better. And his quirks go from feeling like they're out of control like All Might's power did, to feeling more in control. And Deku does won't pull away. As All for One, he does want to slump forwards, and right now look directly up towards Deku. As Deku does look down at his hands, this power, All for one. Now, Deku won't smile, as All for One does look up and tell him, his ability will not come cheap. His ability will be hard for him to handle. If he thinks that he can handle his ability, then he is going to be lying to himself. Now, Deku just tell the man, he's handled many abilities in his life, and the Hero Committee, they've made him handle abilities that have been deemed as either impossible or crazy. And All for One does actually try to ask Deku a question. Why does he still follow the design for him? What? Why do you still follow their path? Why do you still try to pretend to be the hero? I've met men like you before. They hide behind a noble goal, but what they want is quite simple. They want to kill. They want to hurt. They want to brutally beat and kill. So why do you fight it? These abilities, these instincts you have. Why do you still pretend to be your noble self? Pretend? Now, Deku, he actually stared All for One. And right now he actually feels a sense of calm. He doesn't feel like he's standing in front of a villain. The man's voice, the way he spoke, Deku just feels like he can answer him. And Deku just tell him, he doesn't know. What? There's something inside of me that tells me I need to be a hero. I know the committee did this to me. I know the committee hurt me. The committee took my family away. They killed them. They took my childhood away. The last 10, 11 years, I've been under their control. But this last year and a half, in fact, almost a while, I felt good. This last 2 years, I think, I don't know. The committee, they haven't been on my ass. They haven't been looking over my shoulder. I don't get it. What do you not understand? That you want to be a hero? That you still try to believe these ideas? You are no hero. You are a murderer. So are you. Yes, and many people call me a villain. My ideals in the past were not seen as ones that could be brought to fruition because of my own extreme methods. But my methods, they were simple. They were ones I deemed possible. Ones I wanted to have happen to save people. And I was seen as a villain for them. So what about you? Will you not be seen as a villain in the end? You will be seen as something in the end. Maybe a hero, maybe a villain. Or maybe you'll still hide behind the shadows, doing the dirty work that you think you do by yourself, that you do of your own free will. Tell me, Izuku, what do you believe that insanity is called? Insanity? It's the loss of reason. It's whenever you no longer care about your own self. It's whenever you believe that reality is so warped that you can do whatever you want. There's a very good definition of it, Izuku. But let me tell you what truly insanity has become. I have lived for over 2 centuries. Well over 2.5, in fact. And let me tell you, I have seen many things. And I can tell you the definition of insanity quite simply. Insanity is doing the exact same thing, over and over and over again. You save and you kill, over and over and over again. You will save civilians, but next week you might as well be killing them yourself. If they decided they wanted money, if they wanted power, or maybe they wanted to go against the own establishment that has wronged them their whole lives. Tell me, Izuku, What can you truly define insanity as if it's not just doing the same thing over and over again expecting different results? You won't get anything different. You will get the same damn thing. And you don't really understand that, do you? I understand much, but do you understand what I'm saying? I don't. Expecting something different every time. It's expected, yes, but predictable, no. What do you mean? Insanity has many things about it. Saying that you can predict the outcome if it is the same, it doesn't sound insane. It sounds like a reason. The logic you deny. Perhaps, Izuku. Or perhaps you just do not understand my reason. Understand what logic I have seen over these last centuries to give me that sense of thought. Now, take this to All for One. Maybe. Or maybe they just think differently. Now, right now All for One, he does stare at Deku. As right now Deku, he does bring his hand up and turn it into a rifle, telling All for One, he'll make good use of his abilities, but he'll make sure he never turns out like him. And right now the gunshot would ring out through the cell. And many people of the security team, they heard that sound. And right now Tartarus is put on high alert, especially because All for One's vitals, they went flat. Now, there currently is outside Tartarus, where Deku, after he was able to get out of the entire main area, he went up to one of the walls. He jumped down into the water and grew gills. And then he made sure to just swim away. Let the current carry him out. And Deku, he got out of Tartarus quite simply. Nobody knew he was in there, and nobody knew he was out. It all happened in around the time of an hour. In Tartarus prison, they had to give an official announcement. All for One was found dead in his cell, with a bullet hole in his head. And many people, they were alarmed. News of All for One's death started to spread. It started to come around very quickly. It was just seen as insane at the time. Heroes and vigilantes, they all paused. And right now there actually was UA. Whenever UA found out this information, they were alarmed. Especially because of one thing. A bullet hole directly through the head. A kill shot. There's only one quirk that would give that type of pattern. Give that type of indication. And right now, Lady Nagant, she's been gone for a while, as far as they're aware. She's out of the picture. No one has heard from her, no one has seen her, no one has even looked or found anything about her in months. And now the same type of ability, the same pattern is popping up again. And that just means one thing. Izuku Midori has already broken into Tartarus prison. And he has not only killed, but he stole the power of All for One. Now, with that being said, Deku, he currently does wash up on the beach. And right now, after he does go to get up, he does sort of gasp for air as he does turn off his gill cork. Him standing up and walking directly onto the beach. As right now, he does think about what to do. The power he does have, the power he possesses mixed with his own. He feels like all his life he's been standing up. And right now, he just sat down. This immense power in his possession. This immense ability. He feels good. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. And to have an amazing day, I'll catch you guys in the next part.